Hi everyone! My February's theme is very cutesy and whimsical. It's hot air balloons. I drew two simple balloon shapes, one's the classic shape and the other's like a seashell, very exaggerated balloon shape. The bucket is also super simple. I was gonna say it kind of looks like a bucket. The basket is super simple. I kept the shape simple because I wanted to focus on the detailing and patterns of the balloons, and it was really fun coming up with different types, especially when they don't really need to make sense in real life. For the big one, I added these eyelet details to the middle patch and the basket, and for the smaller balloon, I added triangle bunting that continues from the balloon to the basket, which kind of gives a carnival feel if you can imagine the hanging part fluttering in the wind. The medium balloon is definitely whimsical because of the lavender vines along the balloon. The two sides are uneven to give off that unintentional and overgrown-ish vibes. I filled in the colors for the flowers slowly, then the balloon, which there are some parts I couldn't drag and drop the colors for easily, so I just colored that in manually, and added highlights to make the balloons look full. It's a little challenging to make sure the color combinations doesn't look too similar since I decided to use only two colors, but the patterns really helped. I was inspired by the account Maple Thoughts on Instagram to do this type of calligraphy, and I think the style goes really well with the airiness that I'm trying to convey with the balloons. Since the calligraphy overlaps with the balloon, I created an outline by erasing some parts of the balloons to make sure the word stands out. Then I pasted my finished cover into the designated pages. I'm going to skip the conventional order and jump to the notes page because this is where my second attempt at the Dutch door is going to be. And many of you asked about how I did the 2 pages template, so this will be a good overview of that too. So I'm attempting to also have shapes in my Dutch door, which is why I'm erasing the page this way. Otherwise, normally you would crop half or a third of the page out very quickly. It's layering the cut page on top of a full page that makes a digital Dutch door. I added rounded edges too, which is a little something extra that I also did with the outer corners of all of my templates. Then I drew along the edge of the Dutch door page to create a shadow, and this line doesn't have to be too neat. I'm using the Gaussian blur tool here and lowering the opacity. This goes one layer behind the cut page. Then I cleaned up the shadow a little bit with an opaque eraser. Since there needs to be a page behind this, like after flipping, I duplicated the result and flipped it horizontally. I went back to draw some details for the big balloon that will be pretty much the centerpiece and filled in different color combinations for the smaller balloons, not forgetting to add highlights since they make such a difference in the end. I did this calligraphy in one go. I sped it up though, I didn't do it that quickly. Then I combined the layers and exported it straight to Goodnotes as a PDF. I'm drawing different sizes of boxes here, partially because it's easier and all of my notes are not the same length all the times anyways. Then I added tiny balloons on the left so the page isn't completely bare. I'll be uploading some balloon stickers to my Google Drive to help you get things started with this theme. I'm not doing the calligraphy though since I did use someone else's style, so I'm not sure if that would be appropriate. A fun flip of the Dutch door since I'm continuing to do the routine page. More calligraphy! I was getting the hang of it a little bit by this point, I think. It was cool to try out the different ways to make it look seamless. The balloon that will be on the flip side of the Dutch door will be transparent and glass-like, which is a super whimsical vibe, and I love the idea, loved how it turned out, just love it. Since it's transparent, there's the fire that's increasing the air pressure that's helping the balloon take flight. although this glass-like material wouldn't be ideal for a real balloon. To add to that, I'm drawing these flowery vines similar to the lavender on the cover page. I added some falling leaves to show that it's not just a design on the glass, and added a very light transparent purple color to the balloon, which is kind of hard to see here. I drew more flowers on the other side to show the transparentness of the balloon, and also added more flowers to the basket part. I'm exporting the page and placing it directly behind the first Dutch store page. Then I wrote the header and time, which concludes the routine page. Switching gears back to the monthly page, I'm making more balloon variations to add them as the page background. So the calendar will be at the front, covering parts of some balloons. They look like they're floating behind the calendar. Adding balloons with different color variations and patterns. They're not as elaborate as the ones on the Dutch door pages, but they're still super cute. I'm adding highlights, then transferring them to Goodnotes. Since the calendar has straight edges, I can crop the balloons in Goodnotes. I sped this calligraphy up, but I still wanted to show you that it doesn't always go perfectly every time. But I still really love this style of calligraphy, and with more practice, it becomes easier. I struggle with these frilly parts though. I added empty balloons to the page and doing a lot of adjusting to the point where they flow well with each other. I did some math to make sure I had enough space for all of the days, and also made sure they're distributed evenly. I had to think about what moods to use for a while, but finally I came up with Lighter Than the Air, Taking Off, and Rocky Ride, which goes so well. I'm happy about them. I totally forgot to fill in the basket color too in Procreate, so I'm doing that with the highlighter and going over it twice to get a more saturated color. Next up is the habit page. I'm going with a vertical tracker where there's numbers on the side for both the days and amount. What I mean is that the balloons will indicate how many days that I did the habit for, and then I'm drawing dots on the line to indicate which day it was completed on to not lose that aspect of tracking. I'm doing the same habits from January because it worked pretty well, and then I aligned the balloons with the lines. This way it's like the balloons are flying at different heights at the end, because let's be real, I probably won't complete the same amount of habits. It fits so well with the theme, and it's going to be fun seeing whether this type of interactive habit page works well or not, so that I know whether to aim for it more in the future. Here's the week's calligraphy. I love the way the W looks. I'm also really proud of myself for doing the one without any outline at all, and this was like the first time drawing the O. Balloons have an awkward shape, and I wanted to have as much space as possible for my daily journal, and for it to fit well with the text, I used an opaque eraser to erase a little bit of the balloon. I did the same for the mini calendar too. Then I drew rectangles and overlapped them together, erasing some lines to define which rectangles are in front. This also makes them look like they're floating with the balloons. I added more lavender details to this later on, and I have other awesome February pages that I didn't include here, but will be posting on Instagram and Pinterest, so follow to see those when they come out. Thanks for watching all the way. I hope you found plenty of inspiration to bring on to your journaling, or enjoyed the video in general. Comment below which balloon is your favorite. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.